We all have that one friend, the one who wakes up early, full of energy, and refuses to let anyone else sleep. In the wild savannah, the mongoose family has a neighbor just like that. Even when they hide deep inside their old termite mound, they still cannot enjoy a peaceful morning. Their longtime companion, the southern yellow-billed hornbill, is more reliable than any alarm clock. Every single morning, this bird arrives at their doorstep, ready to call the entire group out for breakfast. It looks like a daily hassle, but in the harsh savannah, this wake-up call is the start of a brilliant survival partnership. During the colder months, the morning temperatures in the savannah drop drastically. The mongooses would much rather curl up together and keep sleeping inside their dark bunker. But the hornbill knows exactly how to end that warm dream. It stands right at the entrance and begins tossing dirt straight into the den. After getting dirt thrown in their faces, the sleepy mongooses eventually have no choice but to poke their tired faces outside into the cold morning air. But even after providing this individual wake-up service, the hungry hornbill still has to wait. Despite being very hungry, mongooses have their own rhythm. Before starting their busy day, they gather to groom themselves and warm sunbathe under the rising sun. Only when given a signal does the group finally begin to move. But right before leaving, the mongooses perform a strange handstand while scent marking their territory. By balancing on their front paws and raising their bodies high, they leave their scent at a much greater height. This clever trick makes passing intruders believe a much larger, more dangerous animal lives there, keeping their home safe while they are away. Once the morning routine is over, the hunt finally begins. Mongooses possess an extremely powerful sense of smell, allowing them to detect prey hidden deep beneath the soil. They are also among the most venom-resistant animals in the African savanna. Dangerous creatures like scorpions, venomous spiders, and large insects are all valuable. High-protein meals to them. As the mongooses begin digging, they stir up the ground, turning the quiet savanna floor into a chaotic hunting zone. This underground disturbance is exactly what the hornbill was waiting for. Whenever the mongooses dig, the hornbill takes full advantage of the chaos. Beetles, lizards, and insects flushed from their cover are quickly snatched up by the bird's long bill. At first, this might look like nothing more than opportunistic stealing, but it is actually a highly effective feeding strategy. The hornbill uses the mongooses as a moving hunting team. The mongooses rarely care about losing a few small prey items, because the service the hornbill provides in return is far more valuable. The eye in the sky while the mongooses are busy digging with their heads down. They cannot see what is coming from above. But their partner has a perfect view of the sky. The hornbill's sharp eyes are constantly scanning both the ground and the sky above. High overhead, a deadly martial eagle silently circles, locking its eyes on the busy hunters below. The mongooses have no idea they are being watched. the hornbill spots the danger instantly. Rapid calls and strong wing beats fill the air. The mongooses do not stop to look around. They listen, drop everything, and the entire group races toward the nearest termite mound for safety. Only after the eagle disappears does the hornbill switch to softer calls. One by one, the mongooses emerge safely again. For the hornbill, giving an alarm costs almost nothing. But for the mongoose family, that warning may save a life. The group quickly returns to feeding, sniffing the ground, and digging up insects protected beneath the soil. Once again, the hornbill benefits. Suddenly, the bird flies to a high branch and begins watching the surrounding grassland. Sounding another alarm call, the mongooses immediately turn and sprint toward shelter. This is the greatest advantage of having a lookout above. The mongooses cannot see very far, but the hornbill can. At first, the large animal approaching appears threatening. But the dominant mongoose soon recognizes a familiar visitor. The alarm call stops, and a different call takes its place. Immediately, the mongooses rush out of the termite mound to head straight toward a warthog. What interests them is the tiny creatures living on its body. Warthogs regularly roll in mud to cool their bodies and protect their skin from the sun. But once it dries, it forms cracks and folds where ticks can hide. For the warthog, these parasites are a constant burden, but for the mongooses, they are a nutritious meal. The mongooses quickly climb onto the warthog's shoulders, back, and neck, carefully removing the ticks with their sharp teeth. 3 different animals, with 3 different ways of finding food, yet all of them benefit from a single remarkable encounter. Across the African savanna, many animals have learned to take advantage of each other's presence, not out of kindness, but because nature favors relationships that benefit both sides. Perhaps the strength to survive doesn't come from being the strongest, but from knowing when to rely on each other. And that is one of the oldest lessons nature has silently preserved for millions of years. Meet one of the strongest animals in all of Africa. It is huge, angry, and has deadly horns. Even lions fear its power. But this giant has a dark secret. It is fighting a battle it cannot win. Thousands of tiny, blood-sucking bugs crawl on its skin. These ticks bite and drink its blood every single second of the day. They cause terrible pain, spread deadly disease, and weaken this mighty beast. But the buffalo has a big problem. It cannot scratch its own back. It cannot reach the deep spots where these blood-suckers hide and feed. If left alone, these tiny bugs will slowly drain its life and kill it. To survive, this brutal giant must do something very difficult. It must let small, fragile animals enter its dangerous world. It must trust them. This is the start of a wild, high-stakes partnership. An alliance of the sky and an alliance of the water. 2 tiny armies saving one massive giant from a slow, painful death. This is the oxpecker. It is the first member of the clean-up team. It is built for this job. It can climb this giant like a mountain. Its beak is flat and sharp. It works like a pair of tweezers. It grabs the fat ticks and pulls them out from deep inside the skin. For the bird, this is an easy, high-protein meal, no hunting required. For the buffalo, it is a life-saving cleaning service. The pain is finally stopping. The bugs bite here too. The bird carefully cleans the eyelashes one by one. Think about the trust. The buffalo could shake its head and crush the bird. Instead, the buffalo stands perfectly still. It even lets them crawl deep inside its ears. These are the most painful spots. The ticks here are hard to reach, but the bird finds them. You can see the relief. The giant is letting its guard down. Without these birds, the buffalo would spend all day scratching and fighting pain. They also clean open wounds, keeping them free of rotten flesh and infection. Without the birds, simple wounds in the wild can turn deadly very quickly. But this tiny bird is not just a cleaner. It is also an active bodyguard. When the giant eats, its head is down. It cannot see what is sneaking up. The buffalo has very bad eyesight. It cannot see predators until they are too close. But the birds sit high on its horns and back. They have a perfect view of the savanna. They watch the grass for any sign of movement. They can sense danger long before the heavy buffalo knows anything is wrong. This allows the buffalo to eat and rest without being constantly scared. The birds feel safe too. No small predator dares to attack them while they ride a giant. It is a perfect deal. The birds get safety and food. The buffalo gets relief and a free security guard. Together, they are a team. But today, their trust will be put to the ultimate test, because a silent threat is hiding in the shadows, waiting to strike. Lions, the ultimate hunters of the African plains. A group of lions is stalking the buffalo. They are moving with the wind. They want to catch the buffalo by surprise while its head is down. The buffalo is busy eating. It cannot smell or see them. The danger is incredibly close. Just 30 feet away, the lead lioness prepares to make her deadly leap. But the bird's sharp eyes catch the slight movement. The guard is awake. The bird does not fly away silently. It screams. It sounds a loud warning alarm. It flies around the giant's head, beating its wings to wake him up. The buffalo gets the message instantly. Its head snaps up. It turns its massive, armored head directly toward the threat, ready to fight. The lions stop. They have lost the element of surprise. They cannot attack a giant that is ready for them. Knowing they cannot win a direct fight, the lions slowly retreat into the shadows. The giant is safe. The tiny bird has just saved its life from a deadly trap. The bird gets no reward other than the ticks it eats. But the bond is now unbreakable. But as the hot sun climbs higher, a new problem begins. The midday heat reaches 40 degrees. The ticks on land are biting harder than ever. Even the birds must leave to find shade in the trees. The buffalo is burning. To find relief, the buffalo must leave the land. It is time for a major change. The giant heads to the water, but it is not just going there to cool down. As it steps into the river, the scene changes. A completely different world waits. Under the water, a new army is waiting, and they are hungry. These are schools of freshwater fish. They do not run away from this huge monster. Instead, they swim directly toward the submerged giant like a rescue team. On land, the birds did their best, but they could not reach the underwater pests. Water brings new dangers. Thick, slimy leeches attach to the buffalo's belly to drink its blood. These leeches are tough, but the fish have sharp teeth. They team up to pull them off. They also eat the dead skin, mud, and algae that have built up on the giant's feet. It looks like a storm of silverfish swirling around a dark mountain. This is a perfect handoff. The sky team has passed the job to the water team. Above the water, the buffalo is in heaven. The burning itch is finally fading away. The fish are gentle. They clean the most sensitive areas that the buffalo could never protect. Even other small creatures, like river crabs, join the work to get a meal. The entire herd is here. They all stand like statues, letting the fish do their magic. The algae can rot and cause skin infections. The fish eat it all, leaving the skin clean. One brave fish swims right up to the giant's nose to clean the outer edge. For the fish, this buffalo is a moving feast. It is a massive source of food. For the buffalo, this is a complete body wash. Its skin is healing. After hours in the water, the job is finally done. The giant slowly wakes up from its peaceful rest and prepares to leave. It steps out of the mud, looking strong, fresh, and completely clean. The ticks are gone. The leeches are gone. The silent torture has been stopped, and right on time, the sky team returns. The birds land back on its shoulders. They find the skin clean, wet and ready for another day of protection. The dual-element team has completed its mission. The giant is ready to face the wild again. Its strength has been restored, not by fighting, but by letting others help. Two completely different elements, the sky and the water, working together. They have kept this giant alive in a world where everything is trying to kill it. As the day ends, the savannah turns into a gold and orange wonderland. The massive giant walks calmly, with its tiny partners still riding on its back. In the wild, we often think that only the strongest, loudest, and meanest survive. We think power is about claws, teeth, and raw muscle. But the true genius of nature is not about fighting alone. It is about cooperation. It is about building silent networks of trust. This giant chooses to be completely gentle with a tiny bird. It opens its dangerous world to creatures that could easily be its prey. And it plunges into the dark water, trusting hundreds of tiny fish with its body. This beautiful alliance shows us that vulnerability is not a weakness. Sometimes, admitting that you need help is the bravest thing you can do. In a harsh and dangerous world, trust becomes the ultimate shield. No matter how big you are, and no matter how strong you feel, survival is never a solo journey. We all need a team. Even the mightiest giants of the WildErra are kept standing by the smallest hands. And that is the true magic of the savannah. Welcome to the Kalahari, a corner of the world where survival usually depends on a hard day's work. Meet the meerkat, one of the desert's most industrious little diggers. And meet this guy, the fork-tailed drongo. He looks like a simple bird, but he's actually a professional con artist. Scientists at the Kuruman River Reserve have spent years tracking these two to uncover a strange, one-sided relationship. These meerkats spend their entire morning digging for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. While the meerkats do the heavy lifting, the drongo just watches and waits. He's looking for a way to snag a free meal. It's a classic setup, the hard-working victim and the bird who's planning a heist. To get what he wants, the drongo has to play a very long, very clever game of deception. This is the story of the most sophisticated protection racket in the animal kingdom. For the first few hours, the drongo acts like the perfect partner. He takes on the job of an honest sentinel, a lookout that keeps a constant eye on the sky. Because the meerkats have their heads in the dirt, they are completely blind to any threats from above. When a real threat appears, like a martial eagle, the drongo sounds the alarm immediately. The meerkats hear the warning and dive for cover. About 75% of the time, these alarms are the real deal. No lies, just life-saving service. This is how the drongo builds his street cred as a life-saver. The meerkats start to trust the bird. As long as he's up there, they feel they don't have to worry. He provides a vital service, letting the mob find more food, because they aren't wasting time looking up. But our honest sentinel is just waiting for the prize to get big enough to justify the scam. In the Kalahari, every single calorie is a win. The drongo spends more than a quarter of his entire day just shadowing these meerkats. Research shows that stolen food makes up about 23% of the drongo's total daily biomass. High-value targets like lizards and scorpions are exactly what the drongo is after. Because the drongo is on duty, the meerkats focus entirely on the ground instead of the sky. He is a constant shadow, hovering just a few feet away from his marks, eyes locked on every move they make. For the meerkat, the risk of a bird stealing their lunch is a fair trade for not being eaten by a hawk. It looks like a friendly partnership, but the economics are heavily tipped in the bird's favor. The bird has put in hours of honest work, and now he's ready to collect his commission. A massive find is about to surface, and the drongo knows it's time to move in for the kill. Today, the drongo has spotted his prize, a high-protein scorpion. The meerkat is totally distracted, focused entirely on not getting stung by its dinner. The drongo doesn't fly down to pick a fight. Instead, he just opens his beak and tells a lie. He lets out his standard drongo-specific alarm call, the signal that a predator is closing in. The meerkat's survival instinct takes over. It's a split-second decision: I stay and eat, or stay and live. Fearing a hawk is about to strike, the meerkat abandons its hard-earned meal in the dust. The drongo lands exactly where the meerkat was just standing. He picks up the prize without a struggle and heads back to a safe branch to enjoy it. The heist is a success. The drongo just traded one fake warning for a massive, high-calorie dinner. That was an easy win, but the drongo now faces a major hurdle. The meerkat quickly realizes there was no eagle, no hawk, and no danger at all. The more the drongo lies, the faster his honest reputation starts to fall apart. It's a simple rule: if you lie too much, your marks eventually stop listening to you. He attempts the same trick on another meerkat who just uncovered a fat beetle. The victim wises up fast and starts to ignore the drongo's own specific warning calls. The boy who cried wolf effect is in full play, and the drongo's credit has run dry. To keep the food coming, the drongo needs a brand new strategy to break back into the vault. The meerkats have moved from total trust to total skepticism. They are actively guarding their finds now, keeping a wary eye on the liar in the trees. The meerkats have wised up. His voice alone won't work anymore. For most predators, this would be the end of the line. The marks are officially too hot. But the drongo is one of the most brilliant minds in the African savannah. He isn't just a singer. He is a master of mimicry who can steal more than just food. He's calculating a way to bypass the meerkat's new barrier of doubt. He's about to launch a tactical counter-attack that will reset the entire game. Dr. Tom Flower discovered that when one lie fails, the drongo simply switches the script. This is flexible alarm mimicry, and it's a stroke of absolute genius. This time, he isn't going to use his own voice at all. The meerkats know that starlings are generally honest. They have no reason to lie to them. While the species can mimic 51 different calls, an individual drongo usually has about 17 tricks in his personal bag. If the starling call stops working, he can switch to a babbler, or even mimic the meerkats themselves. He's picked the perfect mark, and he's found the perfect voice to steal that dinner. By constantly varying the signal, he prevents the meerkats from getting used to the trick. He's not just a bird anymore. He's a one-man network of fake news. It worked perfectly. The new sound triggered that deep fear response all over again. By the time the meerkat realizes it's been conned again, its dinner is already gone. Dr. Flower tracked 64 habituated birds to prove this wasn't just some lucky fluke. Constantly changing the alarm type is the only way to keep the fear response alive. Researchers found that drongos strategically adjust their calls based on how their victims react. The meerkats are trapped in a biological arms race they just can't seem to win. He has broken their code of silence by stealing the very voices of their neighbors. He goes back to being the helpful lookout for a while, just to rebuild a tiny bit of trust. The heist is a loop, and the drongo is the one holding all the keys. As the day winds down, the drongo sits victoriously on his high-altitude perch. This isn't a story about kindness or a simple, helpful partnership. It is a complex tactical scam that ensures the drongo survives in one of the harshest places on Earth. The meerkats lost some food today, but they're still alive because the birds' real warnings saved them from the hawks. Both species have adapted to this eternal dance of trust and thievery. Tomorrow, the meerkats will forget. And the drongo, he's already planning his next lie. This isn't just a drongo thing. Even hornbills run the exact same protection racket on mongooses. The scam will begin again tomorrow, the second the sun hits the...
Why does this tiny bird steal a fresh pile of bison poop? The answer is a disgusting scam that keeps its family alive. But when this smelly trap backfires on its babies, the owl must play a terrifying final bluff in the pitch dark. Before the tricks and the warnings, the owl must first claim a home. To survive underground, it takes over an abandoned prairie dog hole. But taking over a home is a dangerous gamble. With hungry, digging badgers patrolling these plains every single day. Without sharp claws, one wrong move means certain death. So, the owl must prepare its first smart defense. Most owls hunt under the cover of night, but this one belongs to the day. Surprisingly, it does not fly to catch food. It runs. Sprinting on foot saves energy, turning the dirt into its racetrack. Target locked. There is no escape from this ground runner. A sudden lunge, and the hunt is over in a flash. Hunting in broad daylight brings extreme danger. A shadow in the sky means a giant hawk is soaring above. Instead of running, the owl freezes, trusting its camouflage. To the predator above, the owl is just a pile of dust. The threat passes, and silence returns to the prairie town. Spring brings the breeding season, but this is no ordinary courtship. The male faces a brutal test, and simple feathers will not win a partner. He must bow and show off his physical fitness to survive rejection. If his display is too weak, she will reject him instantly. To lock the deal, he presents a critical gift, an actual meal. She accepts. The partnership is locked, and the clock is ticking. Deep underground, they begin preparing their simple nest. A simple dirt chamber, transformed into a warm nursery. They are ready, but a massive crisis is already brewing. Feeding their future chicks will push them to the absolute edge. The female lays a clutch of 9 white eggs. For a month, she cannot leave them. Now, the entire burden of survival falls on the male. He must hunt for 2, but the scorching heat is draining his energy. Sprinting after single bugs is a losing game. He is running out of time. To save his family from starvation, the owl must cheat. The owl tracks the movements of a massive prairie giant, the bison. The owl does not care about the giant. It only wants its fresh waste. It collects the heavy dung, carrying the smelly chunks back home. And lines its doorway with the smelly trap. This smelly engineering is actually an ingenious baiting trap. The powerful odor acts as an invisible magnetic bait. It draws hundreds of dung beetles straight to their doorstep. They are walking straight into the jaws of a predator. The owl rests while the food delivers itself to its door. A risk-free delivery system to feed the hungry chicks. Inside the dark hole, the new generation is fed without risk. By solving its food crisis, the owl has saved its vital energy. But the heavy odor is already traveling too far. This massive, concentrated scent is an invitation, a warning that a dangerous, uninvited guest might be listening. But in the wild, every brilliant trick comes with a terrifying catch. The heavy scent that brings the feast now attracts a beast. A hungry American badger catches the scent and locks onto the nest. Its extraordinary sense of smell tracks the strong scent to the mound. A living bulldozer is charging straight for their front door. It smells the dung and prepares to dig for an easy meal. The assault begins. The giant badger starts tearing into the soil. The father owl retreats. Their brilliant trap has become their tomb. Deep inside, the mother and her 9 babies are trapped in a dead end. The badger is relentless, widening the tunnel with razor-sharp claws. With no escape, the predator is seconds away from reaching the nest. But the cornered owl has one final, terrifying card to play. She does not fight with claws. She fights with sound. From the pitch-black tunnel, a dry, metallic buzz begins to vibrate. It is the unmistakable rattle of a venomous prairie rattlesnake. A single bite in this tight, dark tunnel means certain death. The bird mimics the rattlesnake with absolute, flawless accuracy. The badger is powerful, but it is not reckless enough to risk its life. The bluff is working. The illusion of a deadly snake is too real. The owl doubles down on the deception, driving the threat home. The badger retreats, choosing survival over a mysterious risk. The living bulldozer retreats. The family is safe once again. Inside the dark chamber, the terrifying rattle fades into silence. The tiny chicks are unharmed. The master bluff has saved their lives. Scientists discovered that the owl's mimicry perfectly matches the frequencies of a real rattlesnake. By mimicking a deadly predator, the owl protects its home without a fight. The dung trap remains active. The cycle of survival continues. A dangerous game of risk and reward, played by a genius. In the wild, survival demands constant adaptation, and the burrowing owl has mastered the art of survival. As summer reaches its peak, the tiny chicks have become capable hunters. They spend their days watching and learning. Every move is a lesson. What their parents passed down was more than the skills to hunt. One by one, they leave the familiar burrow, beginning lives of their own. The burrow falls silent once more. But not for long. On the prairie, there are no true endings. Only one generation following another. Next spring, another pair of owls will choose this very same home. That is how the burrowing owl has survived through countless breeding seasons. And why it continues to thrive in this unforgiving land today. Because the strength to survive does not come from being the strongest, but from knowing how to outsmart a dangerous world.
This is the Amazon rainforest, one of the most abundant places on Earth. Every year, this place gets hit with nearly 3 meters of rainfall. For thousands of years, relentless rain has shaped this lush Amazon jungle again and again. Survival here comes down to one rule: learn to climb or learn to swim. But one creature has managed to turn this endless natural disaster into its biggest opportunity. It's the fire ant. Right now, the rain has pushed it to the edge of the world. Its path has already been cut off by rising floodwater. It now has only minutes to get this message back to the colony, because in a few minutes, the entire underground kingdom will be underwater. Worker and soldier ants, they have one job: protect the colony's future at all costs. In this chaos, fire ants link legs and grip each other tightly, ready to build a lifeboat out of their own bodies. This is where the fire ant shows what unity really means, fighting side by side, refusing to give up. They carry their queen in their jaws and hide her deep inside the living raft. But the fish waiting in the water are their first real obstacle. This is water rice. Its mouth part works like a needle. It can easily pierce a fire ant's body and drain it dry. But provoking this colony isn't so easy. The fire ants are ready to fight back. This aimless drift can sometimes last for weeks. Finally, the fire ant colony finds a place to land. For the next 3 months, a single pine tree becomes their new home. Once the flood finally recedes, they'll return underground to rebuild their kingdom. Fire ants fought the water to survive, but there's another ant that may never meet a fish in its entire life. This is the Sahara Desert, scorching heat all year round. If you're lucky, maybe you'll see a bit of rain once a year, which is why almost nothing can survive here. Here, the sun isn't a symbol of hope. It's not a sign of life. It's a death sentence. It's 10 a.m. The surface temperature has already hit 60 degrees Celsius. This armored little guy needs to find shade fast. This is the Sahara silver ant, but it's not running from the sun, it's waiting for it to get even hotter. Temperature has hit its peak. The Sahara silver ants come out to search for the corpses of animals that have burned to death. But they can't survive long in this heat, so their target has to be exact. Unlike the corpse they're chasing, the silver ant has its own built-in defense that keeps it from overheating for a while. Its shiny, reflective hairs bounce the sun's deadliest rays right back off its body. but carrying the food back to the underground nest alone is impossible. It needs the strength of the team. But the nest is 18,000 body lengths away. The nest is now just 70 meters away, but this one is already overheating. The rescue team is on its way, but unfortunately the heat wave whips up a violent dust storm. They're just one step from the nest, but the dust storm has sealed the entrance shut. Every silver ant starts digging, clearing the sand, blocking their door. These silver ants still refuse to give up their food. The last group of reinforcements starts racing against death itself. And finally, they make it home safe.
A single mistake on the savannah, and her fight is over before it even begins. This is only a flash forward of the terrifying chaos she is about to face. Across these dry grasslands, life is never easy, and her two cubs will test her limits. To survive, she must find food every single day, but this small snack won't last long. But what happens when her hunger leads her to a much more dangerous height? The search for a real, life-saving meal is about to begin. A massive opportunity is hidden high above the savannah floor. She spends days watching and mapping their exact flight times. Her patience reveals a pattern. Around midday, the birds leave their nest. But can a heavy ground dweller scale a vertical rock wall? The climb begins, and there is no safety net if she falls. Every single step tests her raw, physical strength and balance. Two rich sources of protein and fat, invaluable for her hungry cubs. But stealing is one thing, escaping with the prize is another. The parents have returned, and they are ready to kill. But how can she escape a vertical drop with two furious birds attacking her? One slip means sudden death, but she has no intention of fighting here. She reaches the dusty ground safely, but the threat is far from over. By the end of the day, she returns safely to her den. Her family is safe for now, but the ultimate price has not been paid. But is she truly safe now that she has returned to her underground den? The parent birds have no nest left to defend, and they are looking for payback. The morning sun brings a new, invisible threat to her home. Two hungry cubs, one dangerous enemy. Will the aerial parents return first? But what can her two defenseless cubs do if these massive birds descend? In this unforgiving wild, there is no place to hide when the sky descends. They circle lower and lower, watching the area around the den entrance. This is not an act of mindless greed. This is a mother claiming her direct survival right. But can a mother recognize the distant danger from miles away? The unusual, frantic calls of the vultures reach her ears. She immediately breaks into a run, a desperate race against time. But the hungry vultures are already halfway inside her dark home. But with sunset approaching, can she reach them before her cubs are out of time? She ignores her own exhaustion. Her only focus is her two cubs. She is about to test her limits against an unforgiving predator. She arrives just in time, and her cubs are still safe. She comes face to face with the low-flying, furious vultures. They are safe for tonight, but what is the ultimate lesson of this unforgiving land? Furious dive attacks force her to protect her cubs while driving the birds away. She has brought her family through the trials of another long day. The two cubs remain safe, and another tough season of survival continues. On the savannah, danger is always near, but this time, it is only a false alarm. Every single effort serves a single purpose, another day of survival. On the dry savannah, sometimes one more day of survival is a victory. Tonight, she wins her fight against the odds.
In the wild, a lone hunter is often highly skilled. But out here, even the best solo hunters face a harsh reality. Meet the coyote, a ghost of speed, built for the open chase. It has the speed, the agility, and the focus of a true predator. But its favorite prey, the ground squirrel, has a secret weapon. It lives inside an endless, complex network of underground tunnels. The coyote is incredibly fast, but too large to follow its prey underground. Now meet the badger, a heavy, slow-moving digging machine. But the badger is far too slow to catch a squirrel in a race. Separately, both of these predators are incomplete. But when they work together, almost no prey can escape. To understand why they need each other, we have to look beneath the surface. A ground squirrel's home is not just a hole, it is an underground fortress. When a coyote hunts alone, the squirrel simply retreats deep into its bunker. The coyote can only wait on the surface, completely helpless. The badger, on the other hand, can dig through any obstacle. But as the badger digs, the squirrel has plenty of time to escape through another exit. By the time the badger breaks through, the prey is already gone. Both hunters are failing, but the coyote is highly intelligent. It realizes that the badger's greatest strength is the solution to its own problem. It decides to initiate one of the most unusual agreements in the animal kingdom. It does not attack the badger. Instead, it waits. The partnership is born, not out of friendship, but out of necessity. This is a partnership with no vocal signals, no complex plans, and no training. It is a silent, instinctive agreement written in their DNA. The coyote uses its incredible senses to locate the general area of the prey. The badger reads the coyote's body language and zeroes in on the target. The coyote knows its place. It stands back and lets the living bulldozer do the heavy lifting. The American badger begins the assault, paying absolutely no attention to the canine beside it. Its entire focus is on the terrified ground squirrel hiding beneath the prairie. While the badger digs, the coyote patrols the surface. Underground, the squirrel is trapped in a nightmare. The coyote listens closely, predicting exactly where the squirrel will try to escape. The perfect trap is taking shape. One hunter is driving the prey out, while the other blocks the only exit. The badger's digging is loud, violent, and impossible to ignore. The vibrations alone are enough to cause total panic underground. The coyote knows that a panicked prey is prone to making mistakes. The badger attacks from the main burrow entrance, leaving no way back. Now, the prey must make a desperate gamble. It breaks cover. The ground squirrel chooses speed as its only chance of survival. But it has absolutely no idea what it is really up against. Missed. But the hunt is far from over. In this partnership, one predator's missed opportunity becomes the other's ultimate advantage. The ground squirrel is trapped in an impossible situation. Ahead lies a relentless digging machine. Behind waits a ghost of speed. Every single exit is monitored. Every path is blocked. This is where the power of two very different predators reaches its peak. The ending is almost inevitable. Surprisingly, they do not fight over the prize. They do not share the physical meat, but they share the success of the hunt. Scientific studies show that when coyotes hunt with badgers, their success rate increases by a staggering 34%. And when the prey decides to stay underground, the badger gets an easy meal. It is a perfect self-correcting system where both sides win. But out here on the open plains, danger doesn't just hide underground. Larger, deadlier predators are always watching. When the badger is deep in its work, it is completely blind to the world above. But the coyote is always watching the horizon. It lets out a sharp, warning bark, alerting its slow partner. The badger hears the alarm and instantly prepares for a fight. The coyote does not flee. It stands its ground, acting as a dynamic shield. Faced with two highly coordinated targets, the larger predator hesitates. It decides the fight is not worth the risk and retreats. Once again, the partnership has saved a life. Together, they are an impenetrable mobile defense grid. But this partnership has a strict expiration date. When the freezing temperatures of winter arrive, the badger retreats underground. It enters a state of torpor, sleeping away the harshest months of the year. The coyote is left completely alone on the frozen surface. Without its living bulldozer, hunting becomes incredibly difficult. The ground is frozen solid. The tunnels are locked. It must rely entirely on its own skills to survive the winter. Every single meal requires massive effort and extreme energy. For the next few months, the coyote can only wait for the return of its partner. But winter always passes. And as the ground softens, the excavator returns to work, and the double assassins are reunited once more. In the end, the deal between the coyote and the badger is a powerful reminder. Out here in the harsh grasslands, no one can survive entirely alone. The strongest animal is not always the one that succeeds. True advantage belongs to those who find a way to work together. By turning each other's weaknesses into their greatest strengths, they have built an empire of survival, a silent, wordless deal that has lasted for millions of years. A testament to the intelligence of the wild. Next time you face a challenge that seems too big to handle, remember the coyote and the badger, and look for your own partner. Which wildlife partnership amazed you more? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories from the natural.
The Kalahari dawn. Sita has not eaten in 2 days. She is not resting. She is measuring. She waits. The Kalahari does not offer second chances. Will her gamble pay off, or has she already lost? At just 20 pounds, she faces odds that would stop any reasonable animal cold. The meal is large. The opponent is larger. She has spotted the opportunity. Now comes the harder part. She took what was not hers. Or perhaps, out here, nothing belongs to anyone. One attempt, one failure. The Kalahari demands more than just hunger. She backs away. The hunger does not. The opportunity was there. She was not ready. She watches until she is. The sun is her first enemy. The vultures are her second. Stillness has a purpose here. Every inch is a risk. Every risk is a calculation. She's not wandering. She's tracking. She's no longer tracking food. She is identifying a threat. Three attempts, 3 failures, and somewhere beyond that ridge, 2 cubs are still waiting. The distance is closing. The mother has run out of options. This is not a theft. This is a mother redefining the cost of survival. She has cleared the path. Now she must secure the home. Second threat. Same mother. The jackal is the consequence. The savannah does not pause to notice, but something has shifted. No animal gave her this meal. No luck found her. She did not win because she was the strongest thing on the savannah. She won because she refused to leave. Sita has won her defense. She mapped it, waited for it, and took it. Watch this long enough, and the savannah teaches you something. She did not fight for the meat. She fought for the right to be left alone. In the Kalahari, respect is bought with scars, not speed. Survival does not always belong to the strongest. It belongs to those who know how to watch, how to wait. Tonight she wins. Tomorrow, the savannah decides again. The Kalahari at dusk. Millie is not eaten today. She is not scavenging. She is hunting for her bloodline. At just 12 kilograms, she faces odds that would stop any reasonable animal cold. Two cubs wait. They are hungry. Their survival depends on a mother who cannot fail. She has spotted the opportunity. Now comes the harder part. A towering guardian. He is alert. One kick could end her hunt forever. Mealy circles. She waits. The bird's focus is drifting toward the horizon. Some would call this theft. In the wild, there is no such word. She takes what she can. One attempt, one failure. The desert does not offer second chances easily. A new target. She digs. The reward is hidden deep within. Two failures in a single morning. She does not stop. She adjusts her path. The opportunity was there. She was not ready. She watches until she is. Two attempts, two failures, and somewhere beyond that ridge, two cubs are still waiting. This is not aggression. This is the weight of her bloodline. Mealy bites. She holds. The king of the savannah is forced to choose. The savannah does not pause to notice, but something has shifted. Tonight, she has earned the right to return. She returns. The prize is heavy. The cost was higher. She did not win because she was the strongest. She won because she refused to leave. Watch this long enough, and the savannah teaches you something. Survival is not a gift. It is a series of choices. Mealy has made hers. She mapped the risk. She took the moment. Her family remains. Tonight she wins. Tomorrow, the desert decides again.